What's going on, guys? Your boy MKS here. Sorry about being all serious. My quirky habits about serious Saturdays and stuff like that. I know, I'm nuts. Anyway, so I thought I'd get through to the list, hoping to make use of this time. So I'm going to be quite quick. So please forgive me if I rush through the list. Yeah, I will try and look for any comments if there are any in the live stream if I can. Anyway, hope everyone's having a great time. I just want to share my opinion about reasons to support South Africa, or as I call it for short, SA. I went through points 1 to 10 in my first video, so I'm going to go, all being well, from 11 to 20. Point number 11, support changes in South Africa to make the country better, and again show that people of colour, to change perception of people of colour, especially black people and Africans, and show they can achieve great things. Also support inventors and innovators, and I think it's a challenge that is worth going for. 12, I hope to encourage people of colour networking together, and I'm sure if people support South Africa, like people from India or other parts of Asia and Africa and so forth, then South Africa can return the favour. 13, I suppose I'm a bit biased. I wish to support what they call coloured, which is mixed race South Africans, as well as the black South Africans. I suppose being a person of colour myself, but overall I think it would be a good thing to do. It's hard to say what I'd include for point 13, but anyway. I think it's a shame that hate, like from the hate groups, is what makes me drive to want to support South Africa, but anyway. 14, I think by supporting South Africa, you can support the rest of Africa as well and show what can be done. 15, once again, I think it's coming together against imperialism, the far right, white supremacy and things like that, as people of colour. And I think the far right would do the same to us and try and bring us down. So I think it would be good to support South Africa and have a goal to work towards, which I think is much more positive than supporting, dare I say, the military or things like that. I think support peace projects and entrepreneurship and peace, love, tolerance and things like that would be a noble goal. 16, I hope to hear other people's ideas and share ideas about reasons to support South Africa. 17, again, I think it's a great cause to give you something to work towards, like how to invest and fundraise for South African entrepreneurs and inventors, investors, and all sorts of things like that, which is a challenge, which I think you can work towards, like GoFundMe, crowdfunding, and that kind of thing. 18, as I say, I think it'll be the right thing to do. I think it'd be a positive thing for the world to support South Africa, especially against hate, and turn the situation around. 19, well, I mean, I am kind of clutching at straws, but I think overall, I feel it'd be a good reason. I know I have these habits, like trying to do lists of 30, but I still think that, although it's hard to come up with a list of 30 reasons, I still think there's plenty of reasons to support South Africa overall, to encourage entrepreneurialism, job creation, tackling corruption and making the country better. And for black people around the world, I think it's definitely worth supporting South Africa, because it's like apartheid and the far right and Afrikaners and Boers are sort of saying that black people are lazy or black people can't run their own businesses or do well. And I think it would be great to show what black people can do and networking together. Like in the past, black South Africans could not run businesses, or, as far as I'm aware, or certainly they couldn't go to certain areas. So, in effect, what many might class as their own country, or as I say, at least their own continent, more than it is Europeans, but they weren't treated as second-class citizens. So, to me, there's some good reasons, I believe, anyway, to support South Africa. I'm prepared to listen to the alternatives, but as a person of colour, I think it'd be very hard to support the Afrikaners or Boers that much, because as far as I'm aware, they probably wouldn't do the same for other people, for people of colour and all that. So I think networks between African and Asian countries would be great, and I especially think black people around the world, diaspora, should support South Africa, and they can help each other to grow. 20, in time, I might think of more reasons again. I'd love to hear any reasons other people might have. I think like tackling imperialism, I think like building networks like anti-apartheid enterprise or something like that, say for instance, which looks to, because when apartheid was around, there was like a disinvestment from South Africa. But when apartheid ended, you could say, well, South Africa could have built its own economy, but a lot of money and funds and things like that, support was taken out of the country. But I think now it's good to reverse it and actually do a lot of funding to actually support the country and reverse some of the problems it's had in history, which has kept the country back, which I'm sure, like the rest of Africa, that much of Africa, or the rest of Africa, has some great resources. I especially think the 1 billion or so people from Africa and in the 54 or so countries should support South Africa. And I say people of colour and especially black people around the world, the diaspora, African Americans, black British, and black people in Europe, and also even white people who are against racism or things like that. I definitely think we should try and look at. I'm not sure if I can say it. I want to say sticking two fingers up to the far right in a way and sort of saying, we will show that South Africa, that African countries and black people and so forth can achieve great things. And I think even supporting mixed race, coloured, what they call coloured, and Asian people in Africa, in South Africa and across Africa, but in South Africa itself especially, would be great. And I think sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. But I just wanted to get this message out there, make people think about reasons to support South Africa and bring the discussion up there. And I hope to make videos in the future which are specifically to fundraise for South Africa and Southern Africa, as well as Africa generally. I hope to do similar ones for Central Africa especially, and Egypt to be a bridge between Asia and Africa, because I think Egypt is like kind of partly in Africa and partly in Asia, if I've read correctly. I was going to say something, but I forgot. Yeah, but to show that people of colour can achieve, especially black people, support coloured and other minorities, and also like that's what I was going to say, diverse groups, and that includes white South Africans who are against apartheid or against racism themselves as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Like, comment, share, disagree if you want in the comments below, or agree, or talk about what you think you could do to support South Africa and ideas we could have to challenge hate, perhaps. I hope you will post comments about how we can challenge hate and spread love, positive vibes, and prove hate is wrong. Love you. Take care. Bye.